All right, so if you guys missed it, Randy Pitchford has decided to put his foot in his mouth again, which is something that he does quite often. He's made comments about how Borderlands, being $80, real gamers will figure out a way, all that kind of nonsense that we've covered over the last couple of weeks prior to the release of this game. But Randy Pitchford, we all thought that he would be quiet after a while. We all thought that at this point, what more could Randy Pitchford possibly say that would get him, promotion or something along those lines with Borderlands 4, at least in a positive way, instead of with the negative press? Well, apparently that's not the case anymore. So PC Gamer has an article with a headline that reads, Randy Pitchford makes people mad again by warning that Borderlands 4 will take even longer to get deep discounts than Borderlands 3 did. So it's bad enough that Randy Pitchford decided that it was in his best interest to make this entire story, which, by the way, this is the person, I want to be very clear about the irony and the hypocrisy here. This is the person that claims they knew absolutely nothing about the price of Borderlands 4 and claimed that he had no control and no knowledge over whether or not Borderlands 4 was going to be $80 or $70. But now the same person that has no knowledge or no control over the price of the game all of a sudden knows when the game is going to magically be on sale, which means that he knows the control over the price. It's just, the oxymoron's insane to me at this point. But again, this is a story that he wanted people to believe when he was getting backlash over the $80 price point nonsense. And I firmly believe that it was all BS, by the way. I think he absolutely knew that the game was going to be $80 and he didn't want to tell anybody, and they decided to lower it to $70 to seem like the heroes and then up the price of the DLC or something like that, or the collector's edition that doesn't even have the game in it, right? It's so ridiculous. But let's talk about this particular tweet that people are losing their minds over. So Borderlands 3 is 95% off on Steam right now, which we saw on the Steam summer sale, and we completely ignored it, dropping it to $3. It's the lowest price ever, and one of the best deals in 2025. It's not, but anyway. And somehow that screamingly good price has turned into yet another opportunity for Gearbox boss Randy Pitchford to annoy Borderlands fans on social media. Now, you know what's so interesting to me is that I just recently picked up Duke Nukem Forever. I mean, I've had it for a long time, but I started playing it again. That one also came from Gearbox, and I just find it so amazing to see the difference between Gearbox of then and Gearbox of today, right, and what they're putting out there, because anybody who's played Duke Nukem Forever knows exactly what I'm talking about, how unbelievably not political correct that game actually is. And just to see the fall from grace that these companies have experienced over just a few years is staggering to me. But in any case, sales like this and Borderlands 3 showing up on console subscription programs took over 5 years from the game's launch to happen. Pitchford wrote on X, take advantage when it's here. Now, they're trying to make it seem as if Borderlands 4, essentially what he's saying is Borderlands 3 and anything below that took over 5 years to get to this price point. So now he's trying to say that Borderlands 4 is going to take even more time to reach this price point. So they're trying to rely on Borderlands 4 for upwards of over 5 years before even getting close to the $3 price point, $5 price point, $10 price point. Number one, that showcases a massive amount of confidence in his game that he thinks that it's going to be so good that it's going to demand a high retail price for a very long time and not go on sale nowhere near what the games are on sale now for. That's number one. And number two, it does show that he does know certain things about pricing when it comes to the game, unlike what he said prior when he was getting drama and backlash for the $80 nonsense. He says, good advice. Borderlands 3 has been around since 2019, so there's a good chance you've already got it. But if you don't, hey, $3. Thank you, Randy, for bringing this to our attention. Yes, thank you. But did you bring attention to your spyware that the game is experiencing? I'm sure that's going to be a thing. But he could not help himself and continue to set expectations. It will be even longer before this kind of thing happens in the next cycle with Borderlands 4. Now, in my opinion, and we're going to look at his tweet, in my opinion, he's saying this. Yeah, he is nuts. He's saying this because he wants people to think that they're going to have FOMO, right? He's trying to maximize on the fear of missing out by telling people, listen, for those of you that wait for sales, for those of you that are actually smart consumers, for those of you trying to get the maximum amount for your dollar, yeah, you're going to be waiting a long time. You don't want to wait that long, do you? It took 5 years for us to get to this point that we're at right now. Do you really want to wait longer than that? No, you're going to want to go pick up the game right now for the low, low price of $70 base. Or if you want to get the super duper ultra deluxe edition, you'll pay damn near double that. right? He's trying to maximize on the FOMO because he knows that that is truly what drives sales, especially when it's a video game that has any form of multiplayer to it whatsoever. That is what he's hoping he can do with this statement. So he's trying to put it out there and get it out there in the masses and get it in your mind that the game is not going to go on massive sales for more than 5 years. And I don't believe that. Because Borderlands, sure, it wasn't $3 up until just now, but the game has been like $7 before. The game has been $10 before, and that was only after about a year or two after release. The game has been on massive sale many times for many years, and that is how it got to the amount of units sold that it has. It hasn't done that at full price. It did it at the sale price. We covered this many times before in previous streams and previous videos. So he does something like this to try to get you thinking that that's not going to be the case. Trust me, it will be the case. Borderlands will absolutely be 50% off after the first year, maybe even year and a half, and then it'll trickle its way to 75% plus over the next few years after that. But you're not going to have to wait more than 5 years to get the game. And keep in mind, too, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Borderlands has been offered for free on Epic Game Store before, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I'm pretty sure Borderlands, multiple Borderlands have been offered for free. Even Tina's Tiny Wonderland was offered for free. So what are we really doing here at this point? Yeah, that's cheaper than $3. So you don't even have to wait for that. If you didn't want to wait for the $3 to get it on Steam, they gave it to you for free on Epic Games. Keep in mind too, look at the Borderlands main page. Look at the company we got going on here. You know, Gearbox. Look at Gearbox. Look at the icon we got here. Gearbox put their logo over the LGBTQ flag, the one with like all the symbols and shit on it. This is the kind of company we're dealing with here. This is the only company, or one of the few companies, that have had the rainbow flag in their icon for the entirety of Pride Month. Most of the companies have not even put the flag there, let alone had it for the entire month. Only a few of them have done it, and this is one of them. Gearbox is absolutely one of them. So let's read his entire tweet here. Randy Pitchford said, sales like this in Borderlands 3 showing up on console subscription programs took over 5 years from the game's launch to happen. Take advantage when it's here. And to set expectations, it will be even longer before this kind of thing happens in the next cycle with Borderlands 4. How do you know that? I thought you didn't know about pricing. I thought you didn't have any control over pricing. How do you know about any of this? To be fair, this person says, I think that's pretty innocuous too, and quite possibly accurate, unless Borderlands 4 bombs for some reason. And at this point, it seems unlikely. PC Gamer's Tyra Wild spent a few hours playing a pre-release build in May and found it not transformative, but solidly consistent, which I think is what a lot of Borderlands fans want. No, Borderlands fans want it to go back to what Borderlands 1 and 2 were about, not what 3 ended up doing, and definitely not what Tiny Tina's Wonderland did. They wanted it to go back to what it used to be, which is going to take more than just solidly consistent, let's just say. At the same time, while it's probably too much to describe Pitchford's message as a gently implied threat, there's a lot of residual sensitivity over Borderlands 4 pricing out there, courtesy of Pitchford's prior social media hoedown, in which he needlessly floated the specter of a potential $80 cost for the game that ultimately came to nothing, but not before a week of throwing hands with randos over it. Well, that was his fault, because that's what he wanted to do. He knew what the price was going to be, and he was trying to drum up drama to look like the hero, right? It's all about the perception. It's all about the actual narrative. If you can make the game, if you knew the game was $70, but you could convince everybody it was $80, you'll cause all this drama, and then after a week, when the price is revealed, you look like the hero because you're charging $70 in a world that's trying to make $80 a norm. That's the narrative that he was trying to go for. That's what he was trying to do with this entire story. It didn't work, but that's what he was trying to do. So ultimately, Randy Pitchford continues to put his foot in his mouth, I should say. And at this point, we really can't expect anything less from Borderlands CEO. Gearbox as a whole, this company is such a joke. What they're doing with their games, unfortunately, is not that great. They're not what they used to be, as discussed earlier in the video. And I think that the game ultimately will just be a letdown for probably a lot of Borderlands fans. I'm still not sure if I'm going to end up reviewing this game at launch. It all depends what I have lined up. But this is not something that I'm really looking forward to as a Borderlands fan. I should say I used to be a Borderlands fan. After 3, I kind of checked out. Tiny Tina's I played for free, hated it, didn't play it after that. So this is basically one of those things where we kind of have to wait and see. But I think a lot of people know what the truth of this game is going to be. And I don't think it's going to be a bomb. I just don't think it's going to be as strong as 3 was when it first came out from the hype of 2. That's what I think is going to happen. This game doesn't have the hype that 3 had from the success of 2. because the last 2 games, which was 3 and Tiny Tina's, a lot of people hated. So there's going to be a little bit of disdain there when 4th comes out. But we'll see. We'll see. We never know. It might do very well. Time will tell. So you guys can let me know in the comments what you think about this story. What do you think about Randy Pitchford? Should he just shut up at this point? Or do you think he's a god amongst gamers? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.